This is probably true. Yes. All right, guys, what's going on? What's that happening? We're gonna check something. Make sure that our. All right, we are not getting muted audio from this stuff. Oh shoot. All right, gotta bust it out. Oh, wrong thing. Let's get to the day. All right, so yesterday was cool. Yesterday was good. We'll be dropping that there, dropping that there. This is up here. We know to be the fact of the matter. We're gonna just get pretty crazy here. Get everything as small as possible. Then we're gonna bust it up here. Boom. Going down some. Boom. We'll raise this up here because it's obviously up here somewhere. The boom and the boom. Boom and the boom boom. Boom and the boom boom. Boom and the boomy boom. That is it right there. Huh. It's a beaut. Try and pay attention to what's going on because it's very important to our strategy while we do this. What was this? Okay. And drop one. Yeah. And we drop that one right there. Bring these up pretty far. Going to the 5-minute real quick. Boom. All right, that is that. Don't get crazy. This is a very important part of the day. The accounts. All right. Trying to figure out what's going on. Make sure we actually have strategies selected. We have the right accounts selected. See if there's any news today. That's always important to find out.
So what that would look like is if the market did a new low, so it came down, tapped into, let's say, this imbalance, created a swing low, and then that would obviously create a new area of interest for me, which would be this bearish order block right here. So then the setup from there will be simple. If the market creates a new low forming that second point, then it will be just a very straightforward sell. If the market were to retest this order block, I'll be looking to sell at the order block, stop going above the high, and then I'll be anticipating, because again, the market could potentially fuel this entire imbalance, but I'll just be looking to trade to the equilibrium.
7:30, cool.
Can get a 1
all right, so things are kind of moving along the channel still. What do we think is overall?
If I can get a 1 to 2, it would have been a great setup. Anything beyond this for me is just gambling. It's not gambling, it's uncertainty. I know, like, I have great certainty the market will reach an equilibrium if it comes down, but I suppose to, if it will fuel this imbalance, again, it could happen, it may not happen. Yeah, so I don't know if that will be a great setup. It's not a lot of room for movement.
A flag.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if the market does give a new low, and then after that, I will then reevaluate and see if I can get a better entry within the order block or not. So yeah, that's it for me for Bitcoin. So short-term short.
Yeah. I can imagine a lot of people are coming in, looking at yesterday's candle, thinking how bullish that looks, and then buying at the open, and then thinking maybe. So
the 4 hour and the 1 hour does look like it's a bull pennant.
Typical.
Yeah. So, but then it's like it will.
We're gonna see what happens.
It will validate
as part of the strategy.
I do believe
we are going to bounce right here. Or it looks like we might be bouncing here.
It will probably do something silly like come in here.
So what we're seeing right now,
and then maybe like retest the equilibrium and then bounce towards this next high.
Low a little bit.
Because on a 1 hour, the 1 hour is still. This was
what we'll
really.
Probably do is.
Because I remember like on Tuesday,
I
actually initially went long.
It's gonna come up.
I went long right here, thinking the market was gonna like take.
It does look like it might.
So I held this trade for the whole day, and then literally I got stopped out. In the New York session.
Stars.
So I was like, cool, no problem. Tomorrow, like the next day, I'm gonna look to buy again because I was fairly certain the price was gonna go up here. The price came all the way down here. Initially, I didn't think that buy was gonna happen. Initially, I thought the market was gonna take out these lows first, and then give that aggressive run to the upside. And then the market basically gave a 1 hour break of structure right here. So I'll just get rid of these lines. Right, so the market gave like a 1 hour break of structure right here. And I was like, damn, this is gonna fly. So 1 hour break of structure, this was an area of interest. So essentially my entry was within this range, and to be more precise,
order filled,
which I was focusing on. So it's the fair value gap. So this is where I focused on entering in the fair value gap. And then from there, there was a very fast reaction. Price came up and then took out this high eventually. So within this 1 hour cycle, with this being the first instance, second instance, third instance, right, the market has completed a full bullish cycle. However, it hasn't really given any, so it's given like a break of structure. So this is the first instance, second instance, and it's now giving that third instance to the downside. So I'm fairly certain that after this third and final leg into the equilibrium, we are potentially going to see some sort of a correction or a continuation to the upside before some sort of potential aggressive move back down.
Okay.
So buying is good now, as long as you're willing to hold.
I got an observation. If you look at a 30-minute chart of US dollar Japanese yen, it looks like that chart, but a few hours later. Yeah, take a look at USD JPY. We've basically.
Oh wow.
That's leading Bitcoin down. That's the same structure.
Interesting.
Yeah, everyone thought, that's a reversal, and then next day you wake up, boom, back to the downside.
Yeah, sorry, that's how sad I am, kind of memorizing these patterns.
Taking the heavy losses. I don't even know what
there's a really weird correlation going on between
it looks
markets that were not typically correlated.
Yeah, but the yen has been one of those kind of safe havens. So
stop filled.
It shot up. Obviously, the yen cross is shot up with Bitcoin and stock market.
All right. I don't know why we traded that. That was not even part of the strategy.
Maybe dollar yen's leading the way down. You know. You know, sort of sell on the fact, buy on the rumor, sell on the fact kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the narrative going on. Yeah, let's see what happens over the next few minutes. Richard, I think it's about time I hand it over to you, sir.
Sure thing.
Order filled. Stop filled.
Let me get my charts up. There we go.
Well,
so
might be trading today. Let's breathe a little bit. Let's actually wait for the setups to happen if we're gonna trade this account over here. I mean, that's a hefty loss there that we are
I actually got out of it
undertaking.
On the NASDAQ. You see, I can't really manipulate the time scale there, but anyway.
Let's look at the bounce.
During yesterday's session on the NASDAQ, just a quick recap.
Look at the contracts. So we
did
did come underneath the line, and now we're going to see what happens when we hit this line. Are we going to go above? Are we going to bounce and stay above?
Had a bit of a overall bullish bias.
Order filled.
That being said, took a little counter trade.
We're going to find out.
She ran a little cluster of highs here. And obviously, I have a lot of things here on this chart, so let me just switch to the 1 minute time frame. But in any case, just took a almost a 1 to 2 trade on there for a nice $300 or so, and just got out. And then luckily there were platform issues, so there was still like orders stuck on my charts. I had to restart things, although I was actually not in the market anymore. But that eventually sorted itself out. So yeah, looking in hindsight, went short. It was a counter trend trade. Obviously, wouldn't have known that until after the fact.
Ouch.
But yeah, look at this crazy price action as we've now seen on the other markets you guys cover as well. So very strong move back up to the upside. So took a little live trade yesterday in the room, which worked out, although it was counter trend. But now I'm looking at price actually where it is right now, taking out the overnight session low. And then we also have this higher low of yesterday here, around 14.55. Price is typically what I'll be looking for. Price did pip that cluster of lows over there. If we can now get a bounce to the upside, then I'll have to switch to the 1 minute time frame. See if I can spot the most visible structure point during this move to the downside, which was probably these little highs over here. Right, so price sort of made lower lows, lower highs, breaking that area. So I would need to see price clear that. I'll read that as a break of structure, but then get a fair value gap to form prior to that break to the upside. Then I would like to see a retest of that fair value gap. Something like
Come on,
this.
get above that
There's
line.
already one down here, and then see if I can get
above the line.
But again, if the market's action or price action is going to be like last week or the week before, you know, you might just see lift off again and not actually get into a trade. Price never retesting those fair value gaps. All right, so that's what I'm looking at on the NASDAQ currently. Same thing on the years, similar price action, price structure.
Let's go.
Again, price now took out this little high low here. Overnight session lows, we're getting a little bit of bounce to the upside. They might both give trading opportunities. So it's just going to be about picking either one of them, the ES or the NASDAQ. So break above that level there with a fair value gap, which we probably already have here as well. This is on the 1 minute time frame. Just get my rectangle tool out. There's one right over there. Okay, so if you can get a break of that level, which looks like it's going to happen, retest, then I'll see if I can get into a trade to the upside. Crude oil quickly.
Order
Yeah, I'm
filled.
sitting with a lot of levels that's very close to each other. I've been watching this overnight session low around about 59.67, but price just sliced through that. Even with that little bounce that we've seen to the upside, as price took out that level, you know, the closest structure point was way up here. That little high over there, around 60, just above the $60 level. Price then reached it. We just had a
Not
little
really
zigzag,
trading along
and
your
we moved
strategy.
down again. Right, so price is extended a little bit too far below that break of the overnight session low for me to actually want to get long here. So the next level I'm looking at is actually all the way down here. After this heck of a pump, and if price would
Better
get there
hope
or
for the
not,
best.
I mean, that's very, very far away.
Hope for the
More than
best.
$3 away at the moment. So
Let's
probably
freaking
not
go,
gonna get
man.
into any
Let's
trades
go.
on crude oil today. by the
Bull
looks of
flag.
things. So yeah, that's what
You're
I'm
not even
looking
really
at.
trading your strategy, so you need to hope
Again,
for the
price
best
very
here.
closely on the ES to the, what's that, about 5344 level. And a little bit further away here on the NASDAQ.
Stop
at around
filled.
the 18705 level. So if either one of these get broken, I'll read that as a break of structure and then see if we can get a pullback into a fair value gap zone and trade it to the upside. Alternatively, price might just continue lower from here, and then there'll probably be no trades here either because we're sitting with that heck of an acceleration from yesterday, and it's just no structure points or lows. It's just too far away for me to use the strategy, if that makes sense. Let's all check things out here from my side. I see things are freezing up again. Might have to
Order filled.
just refresh my charts quick. But that's what I'm looking at. So yeah, hopefully we can get it set up again.
Stop filled.
Yeah, on my side, on my radar, I'm still looking at
Order filled.
dollar Canada as a potential short. Let's just
Want to show us?
Sure thing. Let's just start off with the weekly. Obviously, in line with the
Stop
weekly
filled.
dollar.
Okay.
This is the weekly chart. So basically, what we've got is we have the big breakdown, first wave down kind of thing, second wave correction up, and then we started to break down in what looks like early stages of wave 3. We had that long lower shadow on that, so we had a big bounce from the support, which made it look a little bit corrective from the high, but we've since retraced nearly all of that rebound. So I think that's one of those situations where we got this kind of unfinished business thing, where we have a shadow comes back in, and then the next session it retests and starts to do the real move kind of thing. So I think we had that descending triangle as well on the daily chart. Let's see. So again, yeah, this is the daily. So we had the descending triangle broke. There's the support, retested the support, and now we're back down again. So that's quite nice to see that when you get that retest. Let's move that up a little bit. So we had these kind of lower highs.
It stops today.
So just straight out the technical analysis textbooks, I think. So big break of support, retest, and then here we go. We're starting to retest the lows, and it looks like once we can break through this low, then we can start to accelerate down. Yeah, I think this one, I'm looking for a good opportunity on the shorter term
Order
stuff.
filled.
I'm waiting for a decent bounce. We've got obviously broken support that comes in here, 140, 143, and we've got a few highs up here as well. So basically between 141 and 141 and a half, I think would be a good place to have a crack at the short side on this one. But not in a hurry to buy it. looks to me like it's headed down, but it would be nice to see just a little bit of a minor correction against this trend to give us the opportunity to have a crack at the short side. Interestingly enough, the other ones, Aussie and Kiwi, now they made new lows for their downtrends. I was actually expecting those to base out above the previous low, but they didn't. When we had the big news last week, we saw a breakdown. Let's just go to Aussie. But we since recovered very nicely. So here's the Aussie on the daily time frame. So yeah, I was basically looking for these lows to hold, but they didn't. Then we got the breakdown on the tariff news, and then because the Aussie, the CAD, and the Kiwi have been very much linked with the stock market. The reason I don't think they've been rallying with euro dollar and cable sterling dollar and falling with dollar yen is because they've been very much linked to the US stock market, which obviously topped out.
They were really being done today.
But
We're
now we're
losing
starting
lots.
to see we had this kind of climactic sell-off, and then we're back into the range. So that might have been the kind of the last few ticks of the longer-term bear market for me, and perhaps this is early stages of a bull run for Aussie dollar. Kiwi, I've got just a bit lower down there. Kiwi is similar kind of picture. Let's just take a look at the weekly. So yeah, so Kiwi broke through the big level here. We've been chopping between the swing low from way back and the broken support here. And then last week we obviously made a
Order
push down
filled.
below, and we've rebounded very, very sharply. So maybe it's time to see some broad-based dollar weakness. None of this kind of one currency doing what it wants to do and the other one doing what it wants to do in a different direction. So maybe some broad-based, which should start to see this thing recover, and dollar Canada start to head lower finally. The yen, as I say, the yen has reversed all of the gains from the news yesterday. So literally we've retraced all of that rebound. So maybe that's what's in store for Bitcoin and stock market. We'll see. But yeah, again, people that were long at the close yesterday, have given up all the gains. They can't be feeling too happy. Big picture.
Well, you know what the catalyst for that pump was?
What, this one?
Just gonna take the hit.
That's the news on the stock. Yeah, that's the news on all the markets basically. So the Trump, the revision of tariffs, non-China kind of thing.
Yeah, and he mentioned he's going to put a pause on any sort of tariff changes. Yeah,
exactly.
And the market
that
liked that initially.
Okay, we're not really trading along our strategy today, and we
again,
probably should stop on these accounts over here.
I love those situations.
I mean, we're
where you get
taking the
weak
heavy
news move
losses.
and it gets completely reversed.
The heavy
because that
losses.
tells you which way the market is really, the balance of supply and demand is really, it really is in favor of the bears. Yeah, you don't want to be holding long, I don't think, if you've got something like that against you. Bigger picture, I had this whole rally as an ABC rally, corrective rally, and then the first wave down,
filled.
and then the second wave, which topped out in that resistance zone I was looking at, 151 plus a few pips. Then we've broken down sharply in what looks to me like the early stages of wave 3, which should be the acceleration phase. And that, I guess, would tie in with the fact that good news has been reversed. I tend to find that markets really do make a big move after supposedly bullish news has been reversed. A similar thing happened with the CPI in February on the dollar index. Let me just show you what I've got on that one.
We're kind of gamble trading now, and we really need to stop doing that. This is not even part of our strategy. What are we doing? Look how much money we just gave back.
Just 1 second.
We're bouncing there.
Yeah, that should be coming through.
We're gonna see how this flows.
This one?
Yep, here we go. Yeah, February, that's the one. Yeah, February the 12th was the CPI release.
We honestly don't know what we're
doing.
doing.
It was a stronger CPI than the market expected right here.
Order filled.
And the dollar shot up, the euro crashed, that kind of thing. But then within a few hours, the whole move was reversed. And that was the catalyst for me for the kickoff of the bear market. So we've basically taken out all the bulls, really. All the buyers were taken out.
Wait for that bill. did
fundamental
fall.
news. And when that was reversed, that's the end of the buying.
We're gonna
You're done.
target way down here.
And that really gave you the kind of the direction of play. And I think it's the same kind of thing on dollar yen now. The fact that we've had a
That
really
is the
supposedly
move.
bullish piece of news, it's all been reversed. If you're long on the news, you're long
See
and
if
wrong.
it plays out.
So that's really
Hope it
what
does,
I think
'cause we
we're
need
doing on
these
dollar yen.
back.
It's going to lead us
Did we
down.
lose an account already? Holy smokes.
Yeah, so that's essentially where I'm at.
Which
Though.
account did we just lose?
Dollar weakness, and potentially seeing some resumption of weakness on stock market and Bitcoin and things. I guess in line with what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
How's
the
gold
weakness.
coming along there? Moving
We
lower.
did.
Yes,
paying
so
attention
I'm
to
just
the
waiting for
drawdown.
this final leg to form. Wait 1 second, I'll show you actually. So it's actually beginning to make its move.
How did we lose one already? That's crazy.
It looks like the NAS is starting to break on the short-term chart.
Yeah. I have data issues here, so I'm not trading that at all. Things freezing up here. Walter, are you sharing something
Yeah.
there?
Yes,
There
I'm
we
just I'm just sharing
No,
my
I've
screen right
removed
now.
it. There we go. You should be up now.
Am I on now? Perfect.
Yeah.
Right, so right now gold is still sort of sitting within this range. So it looks like it's gonna make headway down towards this low. This is tradable, but yeah, I don't like trading in uncertain scenarios. Like this is tradable in the sense of could get an entry there or could get an entry, a more refined entry, sort of like on at this 5 minutes imbalance, stop above the high, and stop goes sort of like either on the retests of the H1 or the high of the Asian range, so which is all the way down here. So it can go either way, right? But the reason I don't want to go counter trend is because the predominant trend is, and the stronger trend is what I see on the 30 minutes time frame. The bullishness of the 30, and price doesn't have to actually retest out here. You know, a lot of the time the market doesn't always like to rebalance straight away. So leave an area unmitigated and keep on rallying, take out
Damn, I can't believe we lost
extended
that.
higher level
That's
targets
crazy, huh?
before eventually coming down to
That's
rebalance
so
the book.
crazy.
So yeah, so it's I don't always like to assume the market will trade down there. So rather, the way that I prefer to trade is if the market were to trade in this order block, then I would be looking to go long. If it doesn't, then I just sit on my hands and wait for the next best move.
Okay.
So yeah, so with this is strictly right now is just waiting for that next best move to happen. And then with regards to Bitcoin, so this is nice actually. So this is now given that third sort of leg to the downside and traded into this area that I mentioned earlier, this sort of imbalance, like a very straight move, because again, very little resistance in the market in this range. The next resistance came from the open of this imbalance right there. So if you take a look on the 30 minutes time frame, price is now currently in that second leg on the 30 minutes time frame. So again, this is like your earlier question you asked in terms of how do I know this is not going to be a fake out? Because again, if this candle closes as it is, the next candle is a bullish candle.
We lost.
Let's say the next
one.
candle trades as a bullish candle back and closes back into this range, and that forms a morning star formation. And that morning star becomes a trap formation, and for me that still doesn't confirm this being a second leg. It's all still within that sort of like first leg, and the market is just accumulating within this range. But if I do see a very strong swing point forming with that market trading back here, then that forms the second leg, and then this becomes an area of interest. But I could also take this as a 15-minute setup. So what I mean by that is the 15 minutes is now given that third leg, so I'm anticipating one more aggressive move to the downside. So and that could easily come from obviously the market retesting the secondary range, which is right there. So I could simply just place a pending order at the secondary range. There's a confluence with this imbalance right there. So it's a very small fair value gap, but it's not that small. It's very visible. It's from there to there, right? So yeah, so there's a nice FPG there. Can enter there. Stop goes. Could go at the high of the range. Go at an intermediate high within the range. This is a bit more risky. This is a bit more safe, but this also allows better R to R. And then potentially get a 1 to 2. This could work. This could work. Sorry, I'm talking to myself and talking to you guys at the same time, but these are the thoughts that go in my head. Yeah, this could work for a short setup or Bitcoin dollar. So it's a 1 to 2 to that equilibrium with an entry at the FVG, which is confluent with the order block. Stop goes above the short-term high. Alternatively, one could wait for that 13-second leg to form, which would give a much more stronger setup confirmation, and then still take the same trade. But I think I'm gonna wait to see how this candle closes. As long as this candle doesn't close on the 30 minutes as a trap candle, meaning it like a rower track, then I'm gonna place this pending order. But if the candle closes as a trap candle, then I'm not going to place this pending order. I do want to get a stronger confirmation on the 30 minutes. So yeah, so in the next 24 minutes, just wait, see how this candle closes. If it closes outside of the range, then I'm just going to place this pending order as is, with entry at the fair value gap, which is 81,268. Stop above the short-term high within the range, and then my profit target at the equilibrium of the expansion that took place yesterday, which is currently sitting at like 79.6K. So I'm just gonna wait for 24 minutes.
Stop fill.
Before placing
gold is very, very volatile as well.
Yes.
Trade up.
Wow, I can't believe we did that.
Yes,
guys, I'm
it
struggling
has.
here on my side with my platform a little bit, so I might have to just hand it over to you for a little while. Frustrating. Freezing up. I think it's when there's so much volatility in the data. If you look at a smaller time frame, it tends to freeze a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I find with some platforms more so than others.
Yeah. It happened
We weren't
yesterday as
even-
well.
I don't know what
Luckily,
we're doing, dude.
I managed to get out.
I don't know what we're
Then It
doing.
looked like an order was still stuck there, but it wasn't, so I couldn't delete it, but there was no position. But anyway, let's see.
The price just took
pretty
out this high.
It looks pretty strong, that one, doesn't it? It's had a look at those two highs on the left and came back, and now we're going again.
Order filled.
Yeah, so it's now nicked that sort of high. So the initial high didn't take it out, created equal high with this high, and now this is taking that out. So yeah, so at this point again, waiting game. But under 15 minutes, so I just want to entertain this possibility because it's always nice to be aware of what could be the case. Is this a swing high? No, it's not. So therefore, this is the initial high. The market traded down and then broke above. Not quite a break because there wasn't any FVG. Oh, there was actually. There's a small fair value gap right there. Interesting. Yeah, so that's the secondary break right there. And then the market traded into this order block. This would have worked. But this wouldn't have been a strong trade. The market traded into this order block, and now it's giving that rally. But again, this wouldn't have been a strong trade because price is in an accumulative, like it's within a range, you know. And a lot of the time, I do like to avoid trading in small, tight ranges where there's a lot of ambiguities and where there's misalignment with the 30 minutes and the 15 minutes trend direction. If there was an alignment in a good way, then yeah, but you know, there was an ambiguity where this could be bearish, give that third leg, or could be bullish. If, for example, this was 3 legs down and then 2 legs up, then yes, this is a strong trade. But 2 legs down, 2 legs up, it's a very weak setup. So yeah, so this is interesting. So now, if price were to give a new high, then the only possible move next, the only next possible move would be to trade a continuation towards $3,168.
Do you look at silver as well, or just gold?
I just look at gold. Silver isn't enough blink for me. But nah. Silver doesn't really it doesn't really move as well as gold does, in my opinion. Because silver is a bit of a lighter market, so it's more prone to short-term manipulations, and it's a bit more volatile in a way that isn't always tradable. Whereas I find with gold, it's more consistently, because it's a very heavy market, it's a lot of volumes, a lot of liquidity in the market. So I do find the price action to be a bit more cleaner. Like even when it's accumulated, even when it's accumulative on a higher time frame,
Stop filled.
it still sort of gives a nice clean trades. But of course, like over the past months, we've just seen gold has just been continuously bullish. But even within this, there's been a lot of good trades who have taken in line with that.
Silver's not done the same.
Not doing good.
Silver hasn't been the same, and
Going
also
to
I
our
just
trend
generally
account.
like, keeping
We're getting wrecked over
the
here.
amount of pairs I
Order
trade and
filled.
look at to 2 maximum. So I wouldn't look at a trade 2 pairs. It's just for me, less is more. The more work I do in trading, the less money I make. The less work I do, the more money I make. Once I tapped into that, I decided to maintain that.
You can look at too many things, can't you?
No. Because there's brain fatigue, and everyone's level of brain fatigue is different, right? Some people feel brain fatigue faster than others, and it's about finding what your level of brain fatigue
Dude, what
is.
the freak are we doing, dude?
I remember when I was looking at all, like 12 currencies, and I would brain fatigue within 30 minutes of trading, and then from that point onwards, it's just mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, missing pins and all that, and getting my analysis wrong. And then I boiled it down to 6 pairs. And I'll get brain fatigue after a London session. Trading New York session, I can't really focus properly.
Order filled.
And then I boiled it down to 2 pairs, and
Stop filled.
I realized I can actually trade for 2-3 sessions in a day without experiencing much brain fatigue. I can be clear, objective, and make as little mistakes as possible. So it's like finding your level of brain fatigue. Because if you experience brain fatigue with like trading 6 pairs, then you probably want to boil it down to maybe 1 or 2, where you can actually be super focused and you can be super clear for the whole session.
Just sounds to me like you're getting old there, Walter.
Sorry?
Just sounds to me like you're getting old.
I am getting old. But yeah, because there's a lot to think about, like when you're trading. Like there's the analysis, but there's also like going through the possibilities of what could happen and taking into account news, like there's a lot of the unseen. Like the longer you trade for, right? Like with you guys, the more things that goes into your subconscious that you wouldn't necessarily consciously think about that's on your chart, but you still consider it.
Stop filled.
Dude, are you freaking serious? Okay.
Lived experience.
No more trading. No more trading that account.
Like, I've seen this before.
Yeah, I'll just look at 3 markets. Well, because the NASDAQ and the ES move very similar to each other, I'll just pick one of them. But when it comes to, I will never actually get into like 2 trades. Let's say crude oil also sets up, then I'll rather sit on the sidelines. Sometimes everything starts swimming on the chart. You've been watching the charts all day long. It's just like, no, I can't do it. Nothing makes sense anymore. Focus, very important.
Yeah, maintaining that is so key, so key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like this session is gonna be one of those days, one of those sessions where the market
Order filled.
just leaves you behind, just keeps doing its own thing, you know,
Mm.
and that is okay.
Yep. Yeah, guys, I don't know what's going on here. That's now just one chart loads and the others don't. I'll have to log a fault here. It seems to happen when volatility really picks up. Yeah. So I don't really have anything to show. Even if I took that NASDAQ trade or the ES trade, it wouldn't have worked out anyway. Things are just moving lower. Howard, do you have something to show?
Yeah, I think it's just the same kind of thing, really. Just that yesterday was a big move on these stock markets. Obviously, like it might be a one-day wonder.
All right, now things are actually working again. Goodness gracious, who knows what's going on?
Order filled.
Sorry about that, Howard.
That's nice.
Frustrating, but anyway, here on the ES and the SPX price broke those lows, just continued lower. Nope. This on the NASDAQ price didn't take out that area, moved lower. So yeah, just one of those days. You're right, Walter. Probably nothing's going to set up. Who knows? I'm going to send a little message on the side here. See if I can log a fault.
I'm really beginning to think if what I was said about dollar yen giving a leading move of what Bitcoin could do. Imagine Bitcoin closes this range, huh? That would be a nice big trade, actually. 1 to 5, 1 to 6.
Yeah, it seems to be sitting on top of that the highs from a couple of days ago, Bitcoin.
Yes, it is. It is.
So it'd be interesting to see whether demand comes in here or whether it just slides back in there and
this gold's down. Flying. Flying.
Yeah, gold's flying. Unfortunately, it didn't take us along for the ride. Such is life. We can't get it all.
Yeah.
Stop filled.
Yeah, so this will take approximately, if there's going to be a setup, let's say this candle closes 30 minutes, the next candle 30 minutes, another one. So it will take at least minimum an hour and 12 minutes for, this is our time, my setup. I'm like, well, if I need to wait for the next 3 candles, an hour, so what can I achieve in the next hour? I'll usually go away and like, I don't know, do something.
Yeah, go to your tick charts. You got to trade off the tick charts. That's what you need to do.
Oh my goodness. I used to do that. Oh god! Like you remember when TikTok charts were like all the rage? Oh.
It was a thing back then, and then all the people that were trading it lost all their money, and then they stopped talking about it.
Yeah, and then you can obviously change the settings of the tick charts. You know, yeah, they didn't work for me.
Order filled.
Yeah, it's too. Yeah. There's a lot of information to process at the same time at once.
Yeah, dude, what the freak, man?
Yeah, there are some traders that work for. Yeah. But this is the thing, right? When you're not a scout, like obviously if you're scalping, you're looking on a 1 minute.
Dude, we lost so much.
You're constantly actively looking for an opportunity, but yeah, over time, I think I found my pace in trading was like 15, 30 minutes. I don't mind waiting for an hour or 2 hours for setups to form. And then there are traders that
aren't even using our other account.
Daily and the weekly, and they wait for days on end for setups to form. And when it forms, they in a position for days on end. And it's like, no, I don't have that level of patience.
No.
I think how would you trade like that? What's your average hold per trade?
Yeah, if I'm not doing
What's
those kind of intraday things, then I'm
Yeah.
looking for an entry during the session and then holding it until the end of not the current session but the next session. So maximum is like 2 days max really. So entry day, close of entry day plus one. So it's
I
kind of
see.
kind of buying a breakout and seeing follow through. Hopefully, same session and next
So
session.
there's a lot going on down there.
Cool.
Let's be smart about this
Yeah,
now.
that's actually
after you
that's
freaking
pretty good.
taken all the
I used
losses.
to train myself to try to do that because.
All right, so
Like,
we've come up and we've
time
hit the
frame
zone
is-
of quite a few
is
times. It
that
doesn't look very
whenever
good.
there is like, so like usually like
It
after you
starts
had
to
a day
break
of rise,
underneath right
sometimes
now.
that
If
can
this
be
one
followed by
fails,
another
we'll
2 to 3
probably
days
take the
of
trade,
rallying.
Order
which we
filled.
are
If it's
going to
bullish,
do.
if it's a bullish trend, right?
Yeah.
But then if it's a bearish trend, like after
We
a day
have
of
to
drop,
stick to
then that's
this.
usually followed by a day or two of
Stop
price
loss
falling.
there.
But
It's
I
not
try
the
to like
best
trade like
trade.
that. But then the problem is these kind of periods messes me up, where the market could like rally and then the next day it just comes down and then rally and then
And
before,
we're
and
gonna
then it
see
takes
what
like 3 to
happens
4
right
days for
here.
some
Are we
sort of
gonna come
break to
up
happen.
Yeah.
and
That
take
really
this
messes
right
with my
here?
head because I'm just
Yeah.
like,
We've
that's a good
pretty much
entry,
lost
but
all of
then
our
filled.
profit, which we
from it,
just
after
did.
24 hours, price literally came back
Do-
and took me out again.
Yeah, psychologically, it's a harder one, I think, because you can give back
Yeah.
your gains. But there again, if you're on the right side,
Order
obviously,
We're gonna-
submitted.
if you're getting on a breakout and it just doesn't go against you, then and you
What?
finish, you're at the end of the day with a nice open profit, and then early next.
Yeah.
No
week,
way,
very
we just
small
lost that
gain
account.
goes again. That's
Mother
the kind of thing you really want.
trucker.
That's if you can get hold of those
Yeah.
ones.
We're so close to
You
passing
usually
that
take
one,
like sort of like profits as
and we
rallies.
freaking just
Yeah,
lost
I
it.
like to get out in
Partials.
three.
lost
Yeah,
it, guys.
partials like 3 stages, 1, 2, and 3.
It's
kind of
hilarious.
thing. And the time exit with the just getting out at the close
That's-
of the entry day plus one.
That's crazy.
Because sometimes you get those kind of home run
That's
trades where
fucking
the last third can really.
We were so close
off.
to passing.
The trade
No
of the
way
week.
did we just do that. We
Yeah,
were
no, 100%.
1,000 away
Like the
from
last part of
passing.
any sort of trend cycle is usually the most aggressive and the juiciest, you know. Yeah, and they usually
And
run
we
very
couldn't get a
fast
hold of our
because if you
emotions. That's
have
okay.
entry
We've
to
got
TP in a short
next
space
month.
of time. There was actually one yesterday on SPX. I don't typically trade or look at this, but yesterday, because I was quite curious, and I was like, yesterday there was a very like following the sort of setups that I trade. This was that third leg run, the retesting in New
Order
York
filled.
open, and then that rally to the upside. So it's the same. SPS moves in a very similar way to gold in terms of how I trade it, but adding this to our repertoire would be way too much work for
Order
the
filled.
same amount of money or just a little bit more. It's just not, I mean, not worth it. I'd rather just keep my work rate the same and increase my output.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. If that S&P comes back and retraces like dollar yen does, that's going to be one hell of an ABC corrective bounce to set up the next leg down. You know, from the low. It looks like a 3-waver, but obviously we need to
Stop
see it
filled.
a bit further down. And it looks like it's breaking down impulsively as well. You know, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5 down. Could well be back into that range and then hit it, kind of thing.
Yeah, because right now, if you look at where this is very similar to gold, right? To Bitcoin, where I mentioned as soon as price breaks below, because between here and there, there's very little resistance.
Yeah.
So the next area of some sort of liquidity is this imbalance.
That's a big range. Huh?
So, yeah. So most likely it will. So between where price currently is, this is a good potential trading opportunity, actually.
Yeah.
Like selling at that tip of the order block,
A little retest.
up above the high, and trading into the zone. This could be a 1 to 2 potentially. And then where does the equilibrium lie on this? Equilibrium. Oh, nice. Equilibrium lies exactly around where that 1 to 2 is, within the middle of the range. This could be a setup, yeah. But this is not my specialty. Ah, Bitcoin is traded in.
Stop filled.
But I'm not in. 5 minutes until the close of this 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you see that as a qualified breakout to the downside, yeah?
On the 15 minutes, yes. On the
Yeah,
30
yeah.
minutes, not yet.
Not so much, yeah. Not yet, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So 5 minutes, if this candle, let's say, retracts and closes outside, then yes. But
Okay, gotcha.
it's still not a new leg because it's not a swing low. So this is a low, lower low. I'll need the next 30 minutes candle to close also outside of this range to form a swing low. So it's still going to take actually another 30 minutes before I get a setup on this. A potential setup on this. But this could work, but it's just risky. Currently, my mindset today's not a good day to trade. That is just my mentality right now.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to know when not to trade as well, isn't it?
Damn.
Oh, that's terribly important.
Damn,
It's
bro.
like very, very important. Especially
Sorry,
after a
guys.
big
I thought
trade,
we were
it's-
gonna pass today.
You know, the last day there's a lot of
We're
big news and
so-
it's always good to
What the freak just
touch grass the
happened?
next day.
Mm.
Frustrated here now. Very frustrated. Anyway.
What's frustrating? Oh, the software.
Yeah. Right, I'm just gonna watch charts and that's it. Oh, first time this happens, but it does happen, right? It's been freezing up a little bit and then it works and then it freezes and then I have to refresh. Well, we'll get it sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where's gold going towards? On the bigger picture, do you reckon, Walter?
On the bigger picture, it's gonna keep rallying. I mean, right now we've already established the dollar is still bearish. As long as the dollar is bearish, gold is gonna be bullish.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, I saw 3,000
Right.
happening this year, but I just didn't see it happening so fast this year.
Yeah.
So, like, at this point, it's now a question of, are we going to see $4,000
Yeah.
before Q3? I think $4,000 before Q3 is going to be very feasible, given the pace that price is moving right now. Yeah. If gold hits 4,000. If gold hits $4,000 by Q3, there's no doubt we're going to have a recession, probably going into the end of the year. I mean, God forbid, but with that level of economic uncertainty, where everyone's like, where gold is just flying and a lot of values going into gold, it's just a big indication that we're heading another recession.
I think crude oil is telling us that story too. The fact that it's broken down
Order
from
filled.
that massive support level on the weekly chart.
Yeah.
Crude oil is. You're looking at that descending triangle on the weekly,
Yeah.
and it's broken big time.
Stop filled.
Yeah, proper break of that. Now, how low can it go is the question.
Yeah, there's a
Oh
big
yeah,
zone,
this is
40 odd, I think.
yeah,
40
this is
odd.
a very, very key support level actually.
Yeah, massive.
And we're talking like what's COVID times, right? So this is the COVID low, and then the market formed this
So
key area
tilted.
after COVID, and then it's been
So
recovering for a
tilted.
while.
You know where the
But a break below is definitely
when the futures went negative. I was watching that live actually. It was insane. Never knew that could happen,
Yeah.
but it did.
yeah. Likewise, I don't think anyone did.
Order filled.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a thing like
I don't think anyone
using
did.
traditional technical analysis now with fib retracements or something from that low to that all-time high. You know, it's not going to work because it's price went
Stop
negative,
filled.
and what you're looking at there is a CFD, right? So if you had to look at the actual futures market on the day, and that contract went, I think, as low as, geez, minus 30 or something like that on the day. It was crazy.
Yeah, and interest rates as well. If you're looking at yields.
Well, interest rates are dropping as well. Oh goodness.
No, just generally they can be negative kind of thing.
Oh yes. I mean, we've seen
Yeah,
that
yeah.
with Japan.
Okay.
Order filled.
You can imagine buying something
Yeah.
thinking it'll never get below zero, and it does. I put my
And then the
stop loss below
market
zero.
surprises you.
Stop filled.
Yeah. Yeah, stop.
Oh, there
at
we go.
-1.
So now that 30 minutes candle has closed
Okay.
nicely outside
Dang.
of the range. So as long as this wasn't a row track, I'm happy. So now the
We're
next
just
30
blowing
minutes candle,
account
I
after
just wanna see
account,
how that
guys.
closes.
What's
Hopefully
up
closes
with
to a
that?
bearish candle. Then after that, I'll place this pin in order. So, but yeah, it's in trading you can never get excited and just jump into a trade and just be like, oh, this is it, this is gonna work out. Those tends to be the trade that doesn't work out. But the ones that are planned for, waited for, and nicely anticipated, those tend to be the one that runs smoothly.
Yeah, a bit of structure.
Dude, we are
Right, this is
literally
forming that
blowing
trade, like,
account
we're
after
We're gonna be
account right
waiting
now.
for
That's
the
how
15-minute
that's how
candle- sorry, 15-minute
freaking
candle
tilted
close
we
on
are.
on the Bitcoin.
Which one?
See how it closes before we get into a trade.
No, so I'm waiting for the 30 minutes to confirm a swing low. When that confirms a new low, then this becomes that second leg, and then this just becomes a very no-brainer short from
Order filled.
this order block back down. But until then, it's nothing confirmed quite yet.
Gotcha.
But it's definitely going to form a new low. The reason being is because this doesn't create a trap candle. It doesn't create a rower trap back into the range. It's just I just need that third candle
Stop
to form a swing low,
filled.
that's all.
Okay.
The reason is because if this next candle, let's say, closes all the way back up here, so let's say that the 30 minutes candle closes all the way, like let's say in this imbalance, then
Order
what
filled.
this does, it affords me a much better entry opportunity, because then I can just like enter there, as opposed to entering all the way down here, if that makes sense. Whereas if a candle closes, let's say somewhere down here, it will probably come up to retest its box before dropping. So then I can just place my entry in the same place. So that's why I'd rather wait for that 30 minutes to close, because it could close. It could allow me to get a much better entry on this than where I am right now.
Stop filled.
Yeah, on my side, I just wanted to point out a setup that's coming in cable sterling dollar.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I could just show you that one. That's been pretty volatile of late, obviously. Sterling has underperformed. There's been a breakup in euro sterling, so the pound has kind of so euro dollar had that kind of choppy pullback and stayed up here.
Order
whereas
filled.
The pound sold off quite hard, so we've seen some sterling underperformance. But now what we're doing is we're coming back above these old lows, which is interesting. So a lot of people would have had their stops below these two lows, I would have thought. So that would have flushed a lot of longs out. And now we're coming back in. Looks like we're going to close above it today. So that, I think, would leave behind quite a nice corrective low within this long-term bull market. So maybe that's the swing and that's the correction, or at least the lion's share of it. So I
You
think
still
we'll
have
settle
some
up here. and we
elite
can
weight
start to-
counts on the pound.
Yeah, I have that as a completed 5-wave sequence. So this is That's either the A leg or
Do
the
it.
ABC.
Break
Oh, so
above.
potentially
So-
deeper
Break
correction.
above. Come on, you could do it. You could do it,
yeah,
guys.
worst case,
You could
I guess
do it.
worst case scenario would be
Stick
like
it, go.
a zigzag or something.
Can't
final
believe
push down in
what we did
this,
earlier.
deeper
That's
into this
crazy.
consolidation.
That's crazy.
But it may well be that was the low. That's quite a
Right now,
possibility.
we're about to get it all back.
Too averse to
About to
seeing this
kill
kind
it.
of, head back up towards the highs.
I mean, we already lost those accounts, but we're about to smash.
But interesting that we've trapped a lot of sellers below that line.
Like what
So
I say.
maybe a good long
Smashy,
on a bit of a
smashy.
pullback, a bit of a retest of that line, because there'll be people short now probably who
All the way.
will not be too happy,
All the way,
and
guys.
you head back towards their entry. Could be a good good attack on the long side should we get a pullback tomorrow. Also, the way the weekly is shaping up too, we've got, although obviously the week hasn't closed yet, but long upper shadow, back down, long lower shadow, go back to equilibrium, and then maybe the
Stop
trend
filled.
resumes.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how you get that. That's taken a lot of the longs out the market. Now this will take the shorts out the market. I think if we stay here. So that could be just what we need to set the thing up for the next leg.
What news happened?
So
What was it?
definitely one to watch. Maybe
What kind of
looking at
news
going
was
long tomorrow or Monday kind of thing
Natural gas.
on that one.
And would you hold?
we did
over
come
a
up and
weekend
hit it.
forward if
We
you
touched
took
it.
on a Friday,
Yeah,
or open a position.
yeah.
Oh, we took a loss there?
As I say, I like to go for
What?
the close of the day after entry day. So if that's a Friday, if I enter on a Friday, then I'm in it until Monday close. A lot of people would see that as being a little
Be
bit
smart.
dangerous, but if the stop is in the right place and the size is not too big, then usually it's not a problem. You very rarely do you get a massive gap move over the weekend. Sometimes it happens, but very
Order
very rarely.
filled.
A Trump tweet.
A Trump tweet. Yeah, no, 200%, 300% tariffs on it.
Yeah, dangers of holding over the weekend these days, because there is now a president who doesn't really care much about these social niceties and decorum of waiting for the weekday to do anything outrageous. Doesn't care. So
No,
on a
anything's
Saturday
possible.
night, it could just anything is possible. It could just be like, China, we're gonna increase the tariffs to 200% or some
Yeah.
crazy stuff. You never know.
Every day is a big news day.
Every day is a big news. He wakes up in the morning, like looks at his advisors, like, guys, what can we do to shake things up, even more today? What can we do today? And then that's what they do. We're gonna raise interest rates. We're gonna eliminate taxes for all corporate companies. We're gonna eliminate taxes for all individuals. We're gonna give out a
Stop,
gold
Phil.
card to anyone that's willing to pay $5 million for it.
No, it's definitely a lot more interesting than it was under the previous administration. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we sort of
100%.
knew that, right? Never a dull moment.
No.
Yeah, in South Africa, we were slapped with a 30% tariff increase.
Yeah.
And our currency just went haywire. But yeah, no, for a bit of relief. See how long this lasts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just really hope that a lot of countries don't push back, because there is a reason that America is retaliating the way they are, but countries pushing back is only gonna make things worse. It's not gonna bring stability anytime soon.
Yeah, we didn't actually kept our mouths shut for change. Normally we don't, the politicians. And then because I think if you made
Order
a big
filled.
hoo-ha about it, then he might not have pulled it back against a specific country, that made a boo-ha.
Yeah.
You'll be very careful.
Yeah, definitely interesting times ahead.
How's your trade? Or is it still moving up on Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is still in the range. Gold is still rallying to the upside. I think my screen is still shared. It's not on the spotlight right now. Yeah,
Gold's
it looks like
flying.
it looks like gold is gonna get that high today.
Yeah,
There's
euro
very
dollar,
little resistance
Stop
from what it is
filled.
now.
euro's pushing up as well. It's an anti-dollar movement.
It is an anti-dollar movement. Yeah, I'm kicking myself over that trade yesterday, actually.
By the way, if there's anyone watching this on either YouTube or X or wherever you're watching from, if you've got any questions, please let us know. Things are a little bit quiet today. Well, not quite lots of action, just not any trades.
Order filled.
We got about 5 minutes left. So please do ask if you got any questions.
Stop filled. Order filled.
Yeah, see what I mean about better entry. So now it's traded even higher, which is nice. Oh, he's gonna wait for that to close now.
Increasing the profit potential.
Exactly. The better the entry, because ideally I want to put my stop loss above this high. I don't like putting it in the range. I prefer to put it outside of the range. So if I can get a nice entry, even if the market, let's say, takes this high out at the close of a 30 minutes candle, but I can get an entry just around this high with my stop going above the highest high, this would be an optimal trade. With the target still being at the equilibrium, then that's a 1 to 4 R to R potential, as opposed to all the way down here, which is like, even less than a 1 to 2. For me to get a 1 to 2, I need to put my stop loss in the range, which is not ideal. So yeah, so this is beginning to look attractive to me.
Stop filled.
For a good New York trade. So now it's just a waiting game. Just gonna wait and see where the market actually closes within the next 18 minutes.
Order filled.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the calm before the storm.
More storm.
Indeed. Yeah,
Stop
so I mean,
filled.
with it does look like Bitcoin is gonna keep dropping because right now it's sitting within that second cumulative range on the higher time frame. So this is a low.
Order
this is
filled.
And right now price is just trapped below, so it could just seek
I gotta
sort of
stop
buy
doing
side
that.
within this range. And right now
It's
this
just
one and this
freaking-
relative equal highs up here. So I do see
It's in for leaving
upside
it.
potential towards these highs, but then eventually I just see a very good possibility the market could give that move to the downside before a more sustained upside move. But for now, there's quite a few juicy buy side targets where we could see price trade towards, and even potentially the high of the range as well, which is very possible.
That's on the daily, right?
So yeah, so the next few days will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4
Yeah, that's a
hours
big-
also a
that's
break of structure to the upside.
It's a big level, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a break of structure, so the 4 hours. So 4 hours.
Stop
super
filled.
bullish. And this is the order block. So selling right now is very risky. Buying is the better thing to do for gold.
Dude, we so overtraded. What are we freaking doing, man? That's crazy.
Yeah, this is a good buy.
On Bitcoin.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, because actually looking at this on the bigger, so I'm gonna go to like a
Order
where's that?
filled.
where's
MC
that?
chart. Hmm?
Yeah, there's a big trend line on there, isn't it, on the daily chart? On the daily chart, there's a big downtrend line that comes in on the daily
Yeah, so there's this, right?
from
But
the high.
Yeah.
I think now we're in this accumulatory range right now. The market will probably stay in this range for a few days. But what I've actually just seen very clearly, as clear as daylight. Oh, this is actually really nice. This is an AMD model. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it before. So it's an accumulation. It's a very it's a very good model for. So it's accumulation. That's the first part of it, and then there's the manipulation, which is the aggressive side. So this is the manipulation.
Stop filled.
And then after the manipulation is a distribution. And by rule of distribution, price would usually distribute to the
Order
high
filled.
of the cumulative range, which is this high as a rule. So right now it's a very clearly bullish cycle until there. And this happens quite a few times. I'm going to show you another example.
Yeah.
This is another example of an AMD. Accumulation, bullish manipulation, bearish distribution, back down. Yeah. So this would be very interesting to see actually, because buying will be very foolish actually. I don't think I'm gonna buy. I will call it a day and I'll see what Friday holds.
Yeah. So sometimes it's just better just to let the bars play out and then get a clearer picture, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think tomorrow will be a much clearer picture. I'd rather buy in this situation. I don't want to sell. So I'd rather wait until tomorrow and see if the market does trade a little bit lower and presents me with a good buying opportunity tomorrow morning, then that for me is perfect, because then I know I'm trading in line with the higher time frame as opposed to trading against it. But
Well,
yeah,
gents,
so
we reached the end of our session. We also got a little bit of a message there. Dumi says, salute to you pro traders. I'm truly inspired. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Demi.
A little bit of a quiet one today, trading wise, but yeah, please join us again in the near future. And stick around for the next session if you want. So yeah, guys, if you got any more or anything else to show, then please do. Otherwise, I think we can end things here.
Yeah, all good my side.
Good. Perfect.
all good on my side as well.
Awesome, Walter. Howard, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Great rest of your days. And,
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Cheers, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care,
Bye.
gents. All the best. Bye-bye.
Can't go on downward spirals, man. You just can't. That's what happens. It's crazy. I will not be adding. You can use the Discord command to add if you would like. Man, I can't. I can't today. I just can't. They just freaking destroyed so much progress that we were doing. Anyways, we have to go. One till today. And we knew. We started out with the trend account. And we were winning. You hear what I'm saying? We still traded. Like, we weren't even winning on the trend account. Why did we freaking... Like, that doesn't even make any sense.
Order filled.
Alright, we gotta go, guys.
Stop filled.
I'm just ready to blow this account.